In the year of our Lord 2024, it's safe to say that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is resting on some shaky ground. Following the monumental success of Avengers Endgame, the culmination of 21 films and 11 years of world building, the unprecedentedly successful franchise has struggled in recent years to maintain its stranglehold on pop culture. While there's a minority of fans like myself who argue that the MCU has succeeded more than it's failed since then, I'm one of 6 people who actually thought that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania felt like a pretty fun Saturday morning cartoon. The general consensus amongst fans, critics, and casual moviegoers is that the MCU has suffered a severe decline in creative quality and undoubtedly financial success. As the old saying goes, desperate times call for desperate measures, and in an attempt to right the ship, Marvel Studios decided to lean heavily on the nostalgic pull of the past, seemingly abandoning their first foray into the world of animation, the computer-generated series What If, and turning its focus on the hotly anticipated release of X-Men 97, the revival series that picks up where the beloved 90s cartoon X-Men left off. Given the circumstances, X-Men 97 easily could have felt like a cheap, exploitative nostalgia play, but the reality turned out to be anything but. Premiering on March 20th, 2024 with 2 action-packed yet thoughtful episodes, the series would go on to receive near universal acclaim with each weekly release, delivering consistently clean, stunning animation that recalled the memory of the original show while actually serving as a clear improvement, using its subject matter to tackle updated themes on bigotry and identity, something the X-Men have done since their inception at the hands of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee way back in 1963. No one's suddenly gone woke here, people. Reading comprehension is important. Wedging in shockingly adult storylines amongst all the superhero fisticuffs, is that cartoon having an emotional affair on his wife? With his wife? And most importantly, putting some respect on my man Cyclops' name after years of being relegated to the background and killed off-screen on the big screen.
To me, my X-Men.
The show wasn't just a hit with fans either, it even curried favor with critics, earning an outstanding 99% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and Jennifer garnering a Primetime Emmy nomination for Best Animated Program. Whether or not the series will win is anyone's guess. I'm told that Blue Eye Samurai is quite good. Are those cartoons about to have sex? But if it does win, there's one man involved with the project who most likely won't be in attendance: the series' creator, head writer, and showrunner, Beau DeMayo. DeMayo, a writer who cut his teeth on genre fare like Netflix's The Witcher, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Marvel Studios' own streaming series Moon Knight, and even a draft of their perpetually delayed Mahershala Ali starring Blade reboot, seemingly came out of nowhere to be named showrunner for the series back in 2021. Despite his status as an unknown, DeMayo's profile quickly grew thanks to the success of the show, his outspoken support of the LGBTQ community, of which he is a part, and because of his active social media presence, where he'd share tidbits about the show's development, rave about video games, and flaunt his vast nerd credentials, as well as extremely homoerotic thirst traps of himself in various states of undress, which may be a contributing factor as to why he won't be in attendance at the Emmys. In spite of the quality of his work, and these kind words from the head of Marvel Studios' streaming, television, and animation division, Brad Winderbaum, I can say that Beau had real respect and passion for these characters, and wrote what I think are excellent scripts that the rest of the team were able to draw inspiration from to build this amazing show that's on screen. Beau DeMayo was unceremoniously fired from the show he created about 2 weeks before its release. Winderbaum initially characterized the termination as a mutual agreement when asked about the firing by Entertainment Weekly. "We parted ways" is the best way I could say. But in light of recent developments, it would appear that this was merely a cover-up for yet another potential public relations nightmare, something that's become increasingly inevitable for Disney and Marvel Studios.
I am inevitable.
At first, things seemed copacetic between the company and the creator throughout the show's first season run, with DeMayo continuing to promote the series on social media. Things took a turn for the worse, however, in light of the show's Emmy nomination, when DeMayo took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to complain about his lack of an invite to the event. The drama came to a head on August 15th, however, when DeMayo claimed that Disney had stripped him of his writing credit for the show's second season, a full season of television that he'd already completed work on, thanks to a social media post that featured fan art of the creator as a cartoonish, yet still juicy, half-naked version of Cyclops. Though Marvel had remained tight-lipped on DeMayo's firing up until that point, the insinuation of discrimination forced them to respond, and the company released a statement to Variety. Mr. DeMayo was terminated in March 2024 following an internal investigation. Given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel. In true monolithic corporate fashion, what those egregious findings were and what the investigation actually concerned wasn't revealed. But in the same Variety article, a source with knowledge of the investigation named the oldest of Hollywood chestnuts, termination agreement violations, and sexual misconduct. Mostly the sexual misconduct.
You f*** young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman?
Of course, because no further details have been revealed, we must turn to the murky waters of conjecture, with our only real source of so-called information coming from independent film journalist Jeff Snyder, who, to be clear, works with zero editorial oversight. Snyder claims tensions between DeMayo and Disney began over the discovery of the creator's OnlyFans page, which he and his subscribers lovingly dubbed Bonelyfans. See? Like that's why this guy got paid the big bucks. Though clearly incredibly thirsty, the page was ultimately deemed non-explicit by Disney, but allegedly still rubbed a few high-level execs at Marvel the wrong way. Both stayed on the project despite their discomfort, and according to Snyder, went on to create a toxic work environment by being physically and emotionally abusive towards staff, allegedly groping an assistant on multiple occasions, and even sending nude photos of himself in sexually suggestive hero poses to male staff members, claiming that the images could be used as inspiration for the show. Beau was apparently asked to stop, but continued to send the photos anyway. As of this writing, DeMayo hasn't directly addressed Snyder's findings, and perhaps tellingly, he hasn't really addressed Disney's claims either. In response to their statement, he really only bothered disputing the alleged contract breaches in regards to his social media, while specifically remaining mum on the sexual misconduct claims. The truth will be revealed. After their Disney Plus disaster, Marvel wants to mislead with alleged contract breaches over tweets. It's tragic it's come to this, but unsurprising. Stay tuned. In the end, all of this is really only the beginning of the dispute between DeMayo and Disney. With the information available to us now, it's my personal opinion that the company fired DeMayo for good reason. Though I have no definitive proof of wrongdoing on DeMayo's part, internet rumors have circled around the writer for quite some time. A full 2 years before the creator's firing, fellow Witcher writer Matt Ambrosio took a not-so-veiled swipe at the writer on social media, accusing him of the same behavior he's being accused of now. And if Diddy, Kevin Spacey, and Louis C.K. have taught us anything, where there's smoke, there's fire. Whether or not that means he deserves to have his opportunity to attend the Emmys or his writing credit taken away is a different conversation entirely. While it's my belief that art should almost always remain separate from the artist, after all, just because someone's a monster in real life doesn't mean their art can't be tremendous. Just ask Diddy, Kevin Spacey, and Louis C.K. But I'm also not a fan of rewarding bad behavior, something Hollywood itself seems to struggle with. Thankfully, this matter isn't up to me, and all I have to worry about is showing up for X-Men 97's second season with bells on, whether Beau DeMayo's name is attached or not. Let me know what you think about X-Men 97's Beau DeMayo issue down in the comments section below. Did Disney make the right call, or is this yet another James Gunn-esque mistake? Let me know. I'd also like to ask that if you liked this video, please click the like button, please press subscribe, be sure to click the bell, and share the video with a friend. I'd like to say thanks in advance, thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.